Hi, my name is Rachel Rosen. I'm an Associate Professor of Childhood at the Social Research Institute in University College London. My research is broadly focused on unequal childhoods, migration, and social reproduction. The case study that I'll be leading for Solidarities is about the politics of need, as it features in negotiations of deservingness with migrant families who have what's called no recourse to public funds in the UK. Having no recourse means that migrants are ineligible for any sort of support from the state, regardless of the conditions they find themselves in. But at the same time, local authorities in England have a statutory obligation under the Children's Act to safeguard and promote the welfare of children in need. And indeed, amongst those families with no recourse to public funds are migrant families who come from formerly colonies of Britain and who find themselves, for various reasons, destitute, homeless, and in long-term debt, and yet have no access to mainstream support or benefits to support them. So this produces a tension between an increasingly restrictive migration regime on the one hand and a welfare regime that's to some degree informed by children's rights obligations to children in need. So it's on this very ambiguous policy terrain that social workers and other civil servants have to make assessments as to whether families are deserving of support under the Children's Act. And so our Solidarities project is interested in what potentially conflicting ideas about nation, about generation or status as a child or adult, about need, about responsibility, dependency, credibility, and so forth. How do these various ideas inform social workers' understandings of deservingness and then their practices of inclusive or exclusive forms of solidarities? It's also in this realm that migrant families act to the best of their capacity to ensure survival, to ensure that the conditions of life and of making lives worth living, worth meaning, is possible. So how do they construct, demonstrate, and assert deservingness? What kind of criteria do they draw on, and with what implications? It is also on this ambiguous realm that local activists, who may simultaneously be migrants, engage in various practices of support, whether it's accompanying migrants to their negotiations with social services or campaigning for migrants' rights. What logic informs these activists' assertions of deservingness and shape their practices of solidarities? Nothing is given in this situation, and so it's ripe for consideration of the complex and textured contestations that take place as destitute migrant families, activists, and social workers or other local authority workers imagine and practice solidarity.